David Klee. How you doing?
Hello, doing well. How are you doing?
Excellent. I understand you're working on some virtualization stuff and some infrastructure stuff. I really see you as the full join of SQL Server and virtualization. That seems to be your space, isn't it?
It's kind of fun. I call myself the infrastructure dork and the SQL Server geek. I was an infrastructure admin for a long time, became the accidental DVA, found out I really enjoyed it, but always kept my hands dirty with the infrastructure side. And, even this morning, I'm actually running some benchmarks on what I would claim is the fastest SAN in the world. Right now, we're looking at approximately 25 gigabytes a second read and write throughput. And we're not even maxing the whole thing out. And that's at about 0.012 millisecond access time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're under NDA.
At this point, yeah, but I can talk about it soon.
Okay. So you have coming up the week after next, a pre-con session for the Past Data Community Summit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it's going to be a riot. I wish it was all week instead of just one day because I could spend the whole week covering it. But essentially, it's performance and availability tuning of everything at and underneath the database for the DBA. This stuff is a black box to so many folks because, we don't have access to this stuff. We don't have 20 years of infrastructure experience. So what I'm going to do is we're essentially going to walk through the infrastructure stack from the bottom to the top. We're going to hit storage, networking and interconnects, the physical server, and specifically CPU, memory architecture, things like that. We're going to hit the hypervisor itself. Now, we're not focusing on any one specifically. So we're going to hit VMware. We're going to hit Hyper-V. I'm going to touch on Nutanix and some of the hyper-converged architectures. And all of this stuff directly applies to the public cloud as well as on-prem, any sort of virtualization there. Because, what is the cloud? It's virtualization in somebody else's data center with really good automation on top of it. So everything that we're talking about still applies there. You just may not have access to some of it. So we'll hit that. We'll talk about the SQL Server virtual machine. We'll talk about the instance and then the database architecture, because in some cases, even though you might think it's the infrastructure's fault, it might actually be the database.
All right. Excellent. You could talk about this for days. Do you offer a 3 or a 5-day training opportunity?
We offer 3 and 5 day. We also offer up to 3 weeks, sometimes a little bit longer, because instead of just doing slides and synthetic demos, part of what we do is we'll go through your environment with everybody together. We make sure everybody's on the same page. We're all talking the same language. And all the stuff that we talk about that we want to look for, let's just go ahead and do the health check while we're in there. And at the end of the project, everybody understands what all of these layers are doing. We've got pain points identified and discussed, and we've got an action item list that they can take and run with and actually go clean up, and all the KPIs to actually go say, yeah, that actually made a difference. I have a blast with that kind of project, not to upsell anything that we do, but that's honestly my favorite kind of project, because at the end of it, everybody's happy. We've usually reduced their SQL Server licensing footprint a little bit. It gets faster. It gets more reliable. Everybody wins. And I just feel like I'm playing with big toys all day. It's just fun.
Nice. So David, tell me about the Portland, Maine data community. What's been happening there over the years?
Well, quite frankly, not that much right now. It was pretty quiet when I was there, but there was a lot of attention both on the New Hampshire user groups and the Boston. The Boston user group is extremely strong. So with one of the benefits of COVID, if you can look at it that way, with them being remote, I'm joining that user group and watching as much as I can remotely because all the stuff is wide open. So the Boston group has been fantastic. They've been doing regular meetings. The content is still amazing. They get a strong turnout. So they're fantastic. I try to join the Chicago groups anytime that I can because, again, same thing. They're just business as usual. They're just remote instead of in person, and you have to pay for your own pizza. So it works. The Lincoln, Nebraska group where I'm at now, they're doing okay. They meet irregularly, but they are meeting. I actually host their website for them, try to keep things moving there, try to contribute where I can, just great people. The Omaha group hasn't really done so much lately, but there is an Azure group there run by Vibov, a phenomenal group. They're meeting twice a month. The turnouts are amazing, so I'm always happy to talk them up. But other than that, so when Pass folded, we were running the HADR virtual chapter for them. Since then, we have actually relaunched that. We call it the Microsoft Data Platform Continuity virtual chapter. So not just SQL Server, we're going to be focusing on Cosmos DB and some of the other databases as service that they host out there, because I've got a strong interest in Postgres and Cosmos, and and actually doing a little bit with InfluxDB at this point, and we're having a lot of fun. So we're trying to meet monthly. Just started up over the summer. So if anybody's out there wanting to speak, let me know, because not only do we want good speakers, we also want good suggestions for topics, because it's not a glamorous topic at all, but it's so desperately needed. And the first 3 sessions that we've had is really back to basics. Just what is business continuity? Why do you have to focus on the people in addition to the tech? And the people, the process, the organization, the willingness to actually do the right thing to set this up and test it and continuously maintain it. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Whenever I've been involved in business continuity, DR, HA stuff, it's always been, how does the business interact with this plan? That is part of the success factor as well. You probably also speak at some virtualization conferences. Perhaps some of the people would like to hear a little bit about where you presented in terms of the virtualization communities.
Yeah, this year I've focused in on largely the VMware community. Trying to speak about Hyper-V at some of the Microsoft events is kind of tough because they want their own people there, and that's fine. I was lucky enough, I got a speaking slot at VMworld this year.
Nice.
And so I did a rapid-fire 15-minute session on storage queue tuning, because the hypervisor in the infrastructure, it's always interesting. Sometimes it's kind of like connecting a fire hose to a straw. Those pinch points in the middle are just major issues. So talked about that. And then I did a, quote, Meet the Experts session with Deji Akamalafe from VMware Corporate. He's basically the head of the SQL Server performance practice over there. Just really rapid fire, just lessons learned, quite frankly, from 20 years of virtualizing this stuff. And now I feel really old.
You and me both, brother. Excellent.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Spoken at a few VMworld or a VMware user group regional gatherings or remotely, thankfully. Mm-hmm. A lot of user groups. There have been some podcasts that I've done. Some of the tech field day events have been amazing. Basically companies present to geeks like us, and then we ask really tough questions, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time, David. I really appreciate the opportunity to get together and see your face again once again on the screen. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll be able to see one another in person in the near future, hopefully.
I can't wait. I was a road warrior for 11 and a half years, and then COVID hit. And it's great to be sleeping in my bed for more than a week at a time, but I really do miss a change in scenery. So I cannot wait until we can all get back together and hang out. And when that happens, breakfast is on me for anybody watching this.
Ooh, all right. Okay. He's opening the checkbook. All right.
Well, one of my favorite things, Path Summit, I go down to Lowell's at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Anybody that would want to join, we'd sit there, watch the town wake up, get a good breakfast, have the calm before the storm, and then hike back to the conference center and hit the day.
Nice. Get some fresh air from Lowell's all the way up Pike Street. Sounds like an awesome strategy. Good. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks once again. And I'm going to take you up on breakfast. Absolutely. Okay.
Do it.
You take care, David.
Cool. Thank you.